Turning the corner. Jesus promises. Let me speak to you plainly, not as someone judging you, not as someone pretending they don't know your world. I'm talking to you because you're already halfway out. People who are fully committed to darkness don't listen to things like this. They don't question, they don't pause, they don't wrestle, but you are wrestling. And that tells me something is already changing. The Apostle Paul wrote most of his letters to people who were coming out of something, not saints who grew up clean, not people who had it easy. He wrote to former idol worshipers, former criminals, former persecutors. Paul himself said, I was once a blasphemer, a persecutor, and a violent man. So when I talk to you, I'm not talking to you as an outsider. I'm talking to you the way Paul talked, to someone who already knows the old life is running out of road. Let's be honest, you've made money ways you're not proud of. You've survived by doing what you had to do. You didn't wake up trying to be righteous. You woke up trying to eat, trying to protect your people, trying to stay ahead of the system. God already knows that. Jesus never acted shocked by sinners. He sat with them, but he never left them the same. Here's what you're feeling now, even if you haven't said it out loud. The money don't hit like it used to. The wins feel hollow. The paranoia costs more than the profit. Paul said it like this: the wages of sin is death. Not always physical death, sometimes mental death. Always looking over your shoulder. Always calculating risk. Always knowing one wrong move could undo everything. That pressure is not peace, and Jesus promised peace. And Jesus said, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That wasn't a church invitation. That was an exit route, an offer to people tired of surviving. Now, let me be real with you. God is not asking you to clean yourself up first. Paul wrote, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us, meaning God made the move before you did, but grace is not permission to stay stuck. Paul said, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? By no means. Grace is fuel for change, not cover for comfort. You're standing at the same crossroads Paul stood at. On one side, everything you know, the grind, the hustle, the fast money. On the other side, a slower road, less applause, more discipline, but also peace, clarity, longevity. Paul said, I press toward the mark. Pressing means resistance. No one presses into ease. Let's talk about imagination, because this is where the trap really is. Paul wrote, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not your bank account, not your location, your mind. Because the hustle doesn't start in the streets, it starts in the head. The belief that you have no other option, that this is the only lane open to you, that righteousness won't pay. That's a lie. Jesus said, I am the way, not a way, the way. You've been trained to think short-term, quick flips, fast returns, immediate gratification. Paul warned against this mindset. Those who sow to the flesh will reap corruption. Not immediately, eventually. But he also said, those who sow to the Spirit will reap eternal life. Eternal doesn't just mean heaven, it means sustainable, a life that doesn't collapse under its own weight. Let me challenge you, not condemn you. If what you're doing was really working, well, you wouldn't be listening to this. Something in you wants out. That's not weakness. That's vision. Paul said, when I was a child, I thought like a child. But when I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Growth always feels like loss at first. Now here's the hard truth. Turning the corner means losing access. Certain people won't understand you anymore. Certain money streams will dry up. Certain conversations will stop. Jesus said, whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. Translation, you can't keep everything and become new. Paul lost status, lost power, lost influence, but he gained freedom. Let's talk righteousness, not as religion, but alignment. Righteousness is when your actions stop fighting your conscience. Paul wrote, whatever does not proceed from faith is sin. If you can't move in faith doing it, it's not for you anymore. You know when a season is over because it stops sitting right with you. That discomfort is mercy. Jesus promised provision, not panic. Your Father knows what you need before you ask. That means you don't have to force outcomes anymore. You don't have to cheat the process. Paul said, I have learned the secret of being content in all circumstances. That secret wasn't money, it was trust. Now let me speak directly to the moment you're in. God is not rushing you, but he is calling you forward. You don't have to change everything overnight. Paul didn't. He spent years being retrained, but you do have to decide which direction you're facing. You can't walk toward light while keeping one foot in darkness. That's not judgment. That's physics. Jesus didn't shame the woman caught in sin. He said, neither do I condemn you. Now go and sin no more. Grace first, direction next. That's the order. You're not crazy for wanting more. You're not soft for wanting peace. You're not selling out. You're buying into longevity. Paul said, godliness with contentment is great gain, not fast gain, great gain, the kind that lasts. Let me leave you with this. The life you're leaving was about survival. The life you're being invited into is about purpose. Jesus promised, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. Abundance isn't excess, it's alignment. And you're closer than you think. Turning the corner doesn't mean you were wrong. It means you're ready. And God honors readiness.